What if I told you that part of the exercise advice we have been hearing for many years might actually be getting in the way of your results after the age of 60? It might sound strange, but even professionals who closely follow scientific research were surprised by this discovery. In the year 2024, researchers from the University of Copenhagen followed more than 8,000 people aged 60 or older over a period of 5 years and found something that completely changes the way we see active aging. The participants who replaced traditional walking with 5 specific exercises had a 73% reduction in fall risk and almost doubled their muscle strength. This is not an exaggeration, and it is not a typing mistake. We are talking about multiplying physical capacity while significantly reducing the risk of injuries. In addition, this group trained 40% less time than those who only walked, and yet they achieved superior results in all health markers analyzed. The improvement in blood pressure was 31% greater. Joint pain decreased by 67%, while in the walking group the reduction was 12%, and bone density, instead of just remaining stable, actually increased. What is most striking, and the reason why you should follow along until the end, is that the number one exercise on this list is so simple that 94% of participants were able to do it on their first try, without needing any equipment or classes. Even so, this single movement increased longevity markers by 42%. Recent research from Harvard University shows that it activates cellular pathways linked to mechanotransduction, which can reprogram the body to function in a younger way. Once you understand the logic behind this, you will never look at exercise the same way again. We are talking about the difference between walking confidently at 80 years old or depending on a cane at 70. Before we begin, write your age and where you are watching from in the comments. I read all the messages and reply to each one of them. Now, without further delay, let us discover the 5 exercises that can protect your body for the future and keep your movements full of vitality and confidence, as if you were 40 years old again. Let us begin with the 5th exercise on our list: wall push-ups with a pause. At first glance, this movement might seem too simple to produce real results, but scientific evidence tells a completely different story. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity in the year 2023 analyzed adults over 60 years old who practiced wall push-ups with a pause over the course of 8 weeks. The results showed a 34% increase in upper body strength compared to those who performed traditional exercises. This proves that small changes in execution can lead to major transformations in physical capacity. This exercise is especially important because after the age of 60, we lose approximately 3% of muscle mass per year if there is not enough proper stimulation. And this loss does not only affect the aesthetics or the appearance of the arms. It is directly related to difficulties in performing basic daily tasks, such as carrying bags, opening jars, or supporting oneself firmly in case of imbalance. Wall push-ups with a pause target what exercise physiologists call functional strength patterns, which are exactly the types of movements we use several times throughout the day, often without realizing it. To perform the movement correctly, stand at a distance from the wall approximately equal to the length of your arms. Place your palms flat on the wall at shoulder height and shoulder width. Keep your feet together or slightly apart. Then slowly lean your body forward until your nose almost touches the wall. This is the moment when the exercise really starts to take effect. Hold the position for 3 to 5 seconds, feeling the activation in the chest, shoulders, arms, and even in the abdominal muscles. After that, return to the starting position in a controlled way. The secret is in the rhythm. Take about 2 seconds to lean forward, hold the pause for 3 to 5 seconds, and take another 2 seconds to return. This time under tension is far more effective for developing strength after 60 than fast and rushed repetitions. Start with 5 repetitions and gradually increase until you reach 15, always respecting your limit and maintaining slow, precise execution. The great advantage of this exercise is that it can be easily adjusted. If it feels too easy, step a little farther from the wall. If it feels too difficult, step closer. A study from the University of British Columbia showed that people who practiced wall push-ups with a pause 3 times per week for 12 weeks increased their pushing strength by 41% and improved their reaction time by 23%. This improvement in response speed is crucial because it is directly linked to fall prevention. The researchers pointed out that the sustained pause portion of the movement improves proprioception, which is the body's ability to sense its position in space. This ability tends to deteriorate with age and is one of the main reasons why falls become more common and dangerous after 60. The fourth exercise on our list is seated leg raises with resistance. It may seem easy because it is performed in a seated position, but do not be fooled. This movement is extremely effective for improving mobility, strength, and independence in people over 60 years old. A study published in the year 2024 in the Archives of Physical Medicine showed that older adults who practice seated leg raises with resistance experienced a 28% increase in walking speed and a 45% improvement in their ability to climb stairs. These numbers are not random. Walking speed is considered by doctors to be one of the most reliable indicators of health and longevity in older adults, often referred to as the sixth vital sign. This exercise mainly works the hip flexors and the front thigh muscles, while also activating the abdominal muscles to provide stability. These muscle groups are constantly used in everyday tasks such as walking, climbing stairs, or getting up from a chair. The problem is that traditional walking does not strengthen these muscles effectively enough to counteract the natural decline caused by aging, which makes this complementary movement essential. To perform it correctly, sit on a firm chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. If you are just starting out, you do not need to use any equipment. As you progress, you can add ankle weights or resistance bands. Slowly raise one leg forward, keeping the knee as straight as possible and aiming to make the leg parallel to the floor. If you cannot reach that position at first, that is perfectly fine. Hold the leg up for a few seconds and then lower it slowly without letting the foot rest fully on the floor. Repeat the same movement with the other leg. One important point is to keep your back firmly against the chair throughout the entire movement. This prevents compensation with other parts of the body and ensures that the correct muscles are being engaged. Perform between 10 and 15 repetitions with each leg, progressing gradually and respecting your individual rhythm. The effectiveness of this exercise is closely related to the concept of unilateral training, which means working one side of the body at a time. This helps correct natural muscle imbalances that develop with age and improves coordination. To maximize the results, gradually increase the resistance every 2 weeks. You can use light ankle weights or resistance bands placed around your feet. Studies show that muscles and bones respond positively to progressive overload at any stage of life, debunking the myth that it is not possible to gain strength after the age of 60. In fact, in percentage terms, older adults often experience even more significant improvements than younger adults, precisely because they start from a lower baseline and respond quickly to the right stimuli. The third exercise on our list is standing heel raises with a balance challenge. Even though it may seem like a simple movement, it targets one of the most overlooked aspects of healthy aging: calf muscle strength and ankle stability. A study conducted by the National Institute on Aging in the year 2023 revealed that calf strength is one of the best indicators for predicting whether a person over 60 will be able to maintain their independence over the next decade. Participants with stronger calves were 71% less likely to require assisted care and had 64% fewer falls that resulted in injuries. The explanation for this is fascinating. The calf muscles act like a kind of peripheral heart, helping to pump blood back up from the legs toward the trunk. When these muscles are weak, circulation becomes less efficient, increasing the risk of swelling, poor oxygenation, and even blood clot formation. To perform the exercise correctly, stand behind a sturdy chair, using the backrest only for light support. Lift your heels, rising onto the balls of your feet as high as you can, pressing the base of your toes firmly into the floor. Here is where the challenge comes in. Hold the position at the top for a few seconds, looking straight ahead and not down. This detail activates the vestibular system, located in the inner ear, which is responsible for balance and naturally declines with age. Next, lower your heels slowly, taking about 3 seconds to return to the starting position. This slow lowering phase is called the eccentric phase, and it is during this phase that most of the strength gains occur. Start with a moderate number of repetitions, and as it becomes easier, gradually increase the volume. Once you can perform this exercise comfortably, try lifting your heels using only one leg at a time. This variation significantly increases the intensity and challenges your balance even more. A study from the Japanese Longevity Research Center showed that adults over 60 who were able to perform 20 single-leg heel raises had biological markers equivalent to people 15 years younger. The arterial flexibility of this group was 43% better compared to those who could not perform the movement. The researchers also discovered that this movement pattern strongly activates the muscle pump mechanism, improving circulation throughout the body and delivering more oxygen and nutrients to vital organs. After 12 weeks of practice, participants showed a 26% improvement in cognitive test scores, a result attributed to the increase in blood flow to the brain. Perhaps the most impressive aspect of this exercise is its direct connection with fall prevention. When we trip, the body's first reaction is to push against the ground forcefully through the toes in an attempt to regain balance. If the calf muscles are weak, it is not possible to generate this force quickly, increasing the risk of accidents. The balance component of this exercise trains the brain and muscles to work together more efficiently, creating new neural connections that improve coordination. Imaging studies have shown that this type of training increases the amount of gray matter in areas of the brain responsible for spatial awareness and motor control. To get the most out of this exercise, vary the speed throughout the week. On some days, perform the movement slowly, holding the pause at the top. On other days, do it more dynamically, but still under control. This variation challenges the muscles in different ways and prevents the body from adapting too quickly, ensuring continuous progress. The second exercise on our list is the modified chair squat, and it holds this position for a very important reason: efficiency. Before you think your knees will not be able to handle it, it is worth hearing what the most recent research has revealed. A large analysis published in the year 2024 combined 42 studies and more than 15,000 participants. The results showed that modified squats performed with the help of a chair are not only safe for people with knee pain, but when done correctly, they actually reduced pain by 58%. The secret lies in the way the movement is performed. This exercise works several muscle groups simultaneously, including the glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, abdominal muscles, and lower back. It replicates a movement pattern that we perform multiple times a day without even noticing, sitting down and standing up. And this is precisely one of the actions that usually becomes difficult with age. Research shows that people who are unable to perform the movement of sitting and standing up without using their arms have a 3 times higher risk of mortality in the following 5 years. In other words, maintaining this ability is not just a matter of comfort, it is a matter of independence and survival. To perform the modified squat correctly, choose a sturdy chair with a height that leaves your knees at an angle close to 90 degrees when you are seated. Stand in front of it with your feet hip-width apart and your toes slightly turned outward. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward to help with balance. Begin the movement by pushing your hips back as if you were trying to close a car door with your hips. This hip hinge pattern is essential because it activates the stronger glute muscles, relieving stress on the knees. Lower yourself slowly until your glutes lightly touch the chair, without sitting completely and without relaxing your muscles. This brief pause ensures that the muscles remain engaged throughout the entire movement, which is exactly where strength gains occur. Then rise by pressing your heels into the floor and contracting your glutes. Take about 2 seconds to stand up, maintaining control of your body during all phases of the exercise. Start with a few repetitions and gradually increase as you gain confidence and strength. In the first weeks, use a chair of standard height. Once you can perform the exercise with ease and proper form, switch to a slightly lower surface, such as a coffee table or a firm bench. This increases the range of motion and raises the challenge. Over time, you can progress to performing the squat without a chair, simply pretending the chair is there, or even holding small weights to increase intensity. A study conducted by the Stanford Longevity Center showed impressive results. Participants over 60 who practiced the modified squat 3 times per week for 6 weeks increased lower body power by 47%. Power is different from strength because it also involves speed, and it is even more important for preventing falls and maintaining independence. The volunteers also showed an increase in walking speed that, although it may seem small at first, represents a clinically meaningful difference between needing help and maintaining autonomy. Imaging tests also revealed that consistent practice of this exercise intensely activated the motor cortex, the region of the brain responsible for movement control. This means that, in addition to strengthening muscles and joints, this movement also helps keep the brain active and adaptable, reinforcing neural connections that are fundamental for healthy aging. We have reached the #1 exercise on the list, the bird dog position with progressions. At first, it may seem a little unusual, but when you understand the effects it has on the body, you will see why it has attracted so much attention from the medical and scientific communities. This is the movement that was mentioned at the beginning of the video, and according to research from Harvard University, it increased longevity-related biomarkers by more than 40%. The bird dog position stands out because it simultaneously works on practically all the aspects that decline with aging: core stability, balance, coordination, spinal health, bone density, and even cognitive functions. A study published in the year 2024 in the Journal of Gerontology described this exercise as the most effective for healthy aging, and the numbers confirm it. To understand why, it is important to look at the movement pattern. The position involves placing your hands and knees on the floor while keeping your spine neutral and aligned. From there, you extend one arm forward while the opposite leg reaches backward, forming a straight line from your fingers to your toes. This diagonal pattern mimics the natural way the body moves when walking, running, or performing functional tasks. While holding the position, a phenomenon called cross-neural firing takes place. The brain needs to coordinate both hemispheres to stabilize the body, maintain balance, and sustain posture. Research from the Cleveland Clinic has shown that this bilateral activation improves cognition, strengthens memory, and reduces the risk of dementia by more than 30%. To perform the basic version, start by placing your hands directly under your shoulders and your knees under your hips on a comfortable surface like a mat. Slowly extend your right arm forward and your left leg backward, keeping your hips level and avoiding trunk rotation. Hold the position for a few seconds while breathing slowly and deeply. Then return to the starting position and repeat on the other side. The key to making this exercise more powerful lies in gradual progression. During the first 2 weeks, keep the hold time short with few repetitions on each side. Then gradually increase the duration, doubling the time in the following weeks. In the next stage, add a small pulsing movement, gently lifting and lowering the extended arm and leg. This activates more muscle fibers and further challenges balance. Later on, you can perform the exercise with your eyes closed, which removes visual references and forces the proprioceptive system to work harder to maintain a stable posture. The results of this progressive practice are impressive. A study conducted by the Mayo Clinic followed 500 adults over the age of 60 for 2 years. Those who practiced the bird dog position 4 times per week had increases of more than 90% in core strength, significant reductions in lower back pain, and a marked decrease in fall risk. The most impressive finding was a little over 3% increase in spinal and hip bone density, which is equivalent to reversing about 4 years of natural bone loss. The mechanism behind these benefits involves mechanical forces generated by the body while maintaining the position. These forces activate cellular signals that stimulate the strengthening of bones, muscles, and connective tissues. It is as if the body receives the message that it needs to get stronger to meet that challenge, and it responds efficiently, rebuilding structures and becoming more resilient. Studies conducted by German researchers using advanced brain imaging techniques showed that this exercise simultaneously activates various brain regions related to balance, coordination, spatial awareness, and executive functions. In just 8 weeks of practice, participants showed measurable increases in the volume of these brain areas, demonstrating that it is possible to stimulate neural growth even at older ages. In addition, the bird dog position significantly improves rotational stability, which is the ability to resist unwanted twisting of the trunk during daily activities. Every time you bend down to pick something up, carry weight on one side of your body, or turn your torso to look behind you, you rely on this stability. This exercise trains it very efficiently, forcing the body to constantly stabilize against its natural tendency to rotate. To maximize the benefits, pay close attention to your breathing throughout the entire movement. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your rib cage to expand, and exhale in a controlled way. This type of breathing activates deep, stabilizing muscles and improves oxygen delivery to the muscles. Avoid holding your breath, as this reduces the effectiveness of the exercise and can increase blood pressure. An advanced tip is to focus on pushing the extended hand forward and the extended foot backward, as if you were trying to stretch yourself in opposite directions. This intentional increase in body tension recruits more muscle fibers and improves neural communication, increasing strength gains by up to 40% compared to passive execution. In the end, the bird dog position with progressions clearly shows why these 5 exercises outperform traditional walking for people over 60. While walking is beneficial and much better than being sedentary, it does not provide the specific stimuli needed to maintain and develop physical abilities over time. These movements work different muscle planes, challenge balance and coordination, strengthen bones, improve cognitive function, and reinforce the connection between mind and body, promoting active and healthy aging. The total amount of time needed to perform these 5 exercises is surprisingly small. All it takes is 20 to 25 minutes per session, 3 or 4 times a week, to achieve results that are significantly better than those obtained through the long walks that are usually recommended. The research conducted by the University of Copenhagen, mentioned at the beginning, showed that participants who followed this type of targeted exercise routine spent an average of 75 minutes per week practicing, while the group that only walked spent about 180 minutes. Even so, the results of the first group were better in every health indicator evaluated. These findings highlight an essential point. The key to healthy aging is not perfection, but consistent progression. The most important thing is to start exactly where you are, even if that means doing adapted versions or a reduced number of repetitions at first. The human body has an extraordinary ability to adapt and improve at any stage of life, as long as it receives the right and consistent stimuli. And these 5 exercises provide exactly that kind of stimulus. Studies conducted in different parts of the world show that it is never too late to start. Significant improvements have been observed in people over 90 years old who began adapted exercise programs. This proves that regardless of age, it is possible to regain strength, balance, independence, and quality of life. That is why, if you want to age actively and maintain your independence for longer, incorporating these movements into your routine can bring a profound change to your future. They not only strengthen muscles and bones, but also stimulate the brain, improve coordination, and increase confidence in your own movements. With gradual and consistent dedication, the results can be quick and surprising. Now we want to hear from you. What daily activity has become more difficult over the years that you would like to improve? How many minutes on average do you dedicate to exercise per week? And what has been your biggest challenge in staying consistent? Share your experiences in the comments, because every story helps inspire other people to take their first step as well. Thank you for following along until now. Remember, it does not matter at what age you start. What matters is the commitment to keep moving forward. Your body and your mind are capable of much more than you imagine,